about Indonesia?
Um, we learn a little history and news in the papers. Yes, I
Have you been to Asia or especially Indonesia before?
mm, no, I never been in Indonesia or Asia.
Okay.
Yes, but it's uh, how is difference between Indonesia and other countries in Asia? Uh, because Indonesia is a Muslim country, and the rest of Asia is a Buddhist or
Other religions.
other religions.
Thank you for the interest of Indonesia. I hope that our meeting today and your interest will lead you one day to Indonesia. That's what we hope, yeah. Of course. If I may introduce a little on Indonesia, we are one of the biggest Asian countries. We are the keen promoter for the ASEAN, the Association for Southeast Asian nation, and we are populated of 250 million people. We are number 4 in the world. Mexico is number 11 in the world. So we are quite a big populous country. But we are not a Muslim country. We are a Muslim majority country. So there are around 85% of the people of Indonesia who are Muslim, just like me. But we do not call ourselves as an Islamic country because we believe in one God, and we also adhere different religion in our country, in Muslim, Christianity, Catholic, Buddhism, and Hinduism. We live in harmony for every religion, just like an example. For example, in the capital of Indonesia, we have the church and the mosque, the places of worship of two different religions. Near from one another. It's just across from one another, and that's the symbol actually how close we are and how harmonious we are in our country. And Indonesia and Mexico, if I look at the questions that you have, we have been related diplomatically since 1953. I gave you a copy of the 60 years anniversary of diplomatic relations between Indonesia and Mexico. There you can read and you can get some ideas on the close collaborations that we have ever since the year 1953. In many terms, we have been close in politics, we have been close in economic, culture, education, and other collaborations. And we have been very good partners in different regional forums, like UN, of course, United Nations, the G20. We have the FELAC, the Forum for East Asia and Latin American Cooperation. And now with Mexico, Indonesia, Korea, Turkey, and Australia, we are in an informal group of MICTA. The MIKTA stands for of the name of each country. So in terms of collaborations, we have been close. In terms of trade, we have already enjoyed not a very big trade volume, but it is still promising, increasing, and there are still many possible opportunity and avenue to increase the trade collaborations. In terms of education, we have had several memorandum of understanding to enhance the collaboration in educational sector. Like in the year 2002, we have the MOU on education, and since the year 1996, Indonesia have offered scholarship for Mexican students to learn and study Indonesian culture in Indonesia for 1 year, as well as to pursue master degree in Indonesia. And we have also several agreement between university and university. For example, like university in San Luis Potosi, with our university in Bandung, in West Java, and UHAT in Tabasco, with 2 university in Indonesia. So there are some rooms that can be and some that can be increased. I mean, in the term of education. What else? In terms of politics, the kind of collaborations that we have, not only that we support one another in terms of our candidacy in the international organization, like for example, our bid for the UN Security Council, or the Mexican bid for the UN Security Council non-permanent member, but also at a different forum of cooperations. So we have done that, and the closeness of our collaboration is also shown by the frequent visit of the president of Mexico to Indonesia, or the other way around, at the ministerial level, at the parliament level, and a different kind. So our record, like the last time, we have President Peña Nieto came to Indonesia for the APEC in the year 2013, and we have our president come here for the G20 in the year of 2012. So that's how we are close to one another. We do have many many areas that we can increase, like you mentioned here. How could we increase the relation between our countries? There are many ways, not only in the G2G government level, but also people to people. Like, if you increase your understanding on Indonesia, then of course to a certain level you will someday get a chance to contribute for the close collaboration between the two countries.
We have a Mexican school with Indonesian name.
We have some schools, Escuela de la República de Indonesia here in Mexico City. So it's 3 schools. One is in other. I forgot the name. It's Estado de Mexico, see? So that's how we are with Mexico.
And these schools study topics of culture in Indonesia, or the language?
For the scholarship, we call it Dharma Siswa. It is for culture as well as the language. The culture can be dancing, can be music, can be performing arts, and different kind of element of culture to learn in Indonesia. It's a non-degree program, actually only 1 year, but it's a good chance for the Mexican students to learn about our culture. And since 1996, we have already got like 110 alumni for this scholarship from Mexico. So it's a good number, actually. And if you are interested, we usually open for the application in the December, January. For the term of August till the August in the following year. So if you have the interest, just let us know and we will give you the details.
Okay, thank you. And how are the difference between Mexico and Indonesia? Cultural difference, or maybe in
The
yes,
cultural difference, we of course we are not the same. I mean, in terms of cultures, we have some similarities, but of course the way of life, the culture is different. Like for example, when we talk about food,
Mm,
we also the similarity, we like hot and spicy food, just like you, picante. But if you got the chance to taste Indonesian food, then you will notice the difference that, in my opinion, our food is more spicier, más picante
mhm,
than your food. So that's the kind of thing that we have. And when we talk about way of life, for example, of course the nature that we have will determine the way of life that we do every day. Here the weather is so nice, and just like Indonesia, you don't have snow, so we are like more, you're subtropic, we are the tropical countries. It's almost the same climate. And like if you go to Cancun, for example, or Acapulco, we have like several places like that as well, with the same kind of life. But in terms of cultural elements like the dance, the painting, the art, it's not the same, but it's somehow similar. We do have symbols just like you. This symbolize what we do have that. We do have ceremony for even religious ceremony or wedding ceremony that we believe will reflect a certain kind of meaning, something like that. So we do have it. So of course we are different, but we do somehow similar.
Some kind of similar in Candi
In the temple,
and temple.
we have temples. You have the pyramids,
Pyramid.
stuff like that.
In economic relations, where which ¿cómo? Which how is the economic relation with Indonesia, with Mexico, exist? There are a free agreement.
No, we don't have free trade agreement. We are not in that process of having the free trade agreement. The trade volume is quite promising. If I'm not mistaken, in the year 2014, we recorded 1.4 billion trade volume with the surplus for Indonesia, around 600. It's not really a big amount of trade, but we do understand the constraint that we have, the distance. When we talk about trade exchange, it's one of the key factor, the distance, and especially the distance, I think. But we have some rooms of that we can improve. We are now, like next week, we are going to have this Indonesia Investment Day. We try to introduce and offer businessmen in Mexico to know about Indonesia, and then to have the interest to do business with Indonesia.
And what are the main products in with export?
Indonesia
Exportaciones.
export to Mexico.
Exportaciones,
The export.
exportations and importations.
Cloth.
Hmm?
Okay.
Clothing. Oh yeah.
Other
Food.
electronic.
Food, auto parts. I mean for automobile, the spare part. Then food as well. What else? Several. We can give you the info in details on the trade collaborations between the two countries, and some other questions that you have later in the email.
And you can tell us a little of history about
The history?
Indonesia.
The history of Indonesia is quite long. It's very interesting. You happen to come on the day when we celebrate the National Awakening Day of Indonesia for the celebration of 107 years. So at that time, the youth of Indonesia gather to discuss what they could do to free the country from colonialization of the Dutch. You may have already read that we were colonized by the Dutch for almost 350 years. Huh? Yeah, 350 years, 3.5 century. And we were also colonized by the Japan for 5 years. Then we gained our independence in the year 1945. So that was the history. And what else? We have had the 7th president now.
Yeah.
The 7th president. We voted him for the last 2 presidents. It was a direct vote. And
Direct vote.
direct vote kan 2 tahun terakhir. What else? Because it's like a long history. You can just Google it and you can find the history of Indonesia. What is your interest, and we will try to answer.
Respect the colony. Where is the relation with Japan actually?
No, we maintain good relations with Japan and our other colonialists like the Dutch, Japan. We have good relations, just like we have good relation with Mexico. We don't have any grudge against them. After the colonization, there are some issues regarding the rights of the people that were taken during the colonization time, but there are some mechanism to make sure that all the rights were fulfilled. But we have no grudge, and we have maintained good relations with them. Like with Japan, in different kind of forum, we are partners, as well as with the Dutch itself. So.
About religion. How the Muslim king or the Muslim being
in the country.
In the country for beginning of the time.
Masih ingat nggak lo sejarah lo?
By trader.
Of course, the trader from the India, the Gujarat. The Arabs came to Indonesia in the year 15,000 something. I forgot the time. And they introduced Islam to Indonesia. Just like other trader came and missionaries came to Indonesia to introduce the religion. It was the beginning. And they spread the religion in Indonesia in a different way. Like they also try to use the local culture as their means to introduce the religion. Like if you see there in that picture, pintura, there is what we call as wayang performance. Wayang performance is maybe in now times is like wayang using this one. It's like this wayang or the letter puppet one, and it was like maybe this time we go to a concert to see music, to watch opera, drama, for example, and the person who played the wayang, who played the doll, uh,
Story.
tell the story of different kind of things, the way of life, sometimes the story, I mean the policy of the king during that time, and uh, I mean the people also use this performance as one way to spread the religion. So it was quite interesting how they spread the religion and then became the religion of our country. Like I said, we have five, six actually that we acknowledge in our government: Muslim, Islam, Catholic, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Confucianism. And that's how we are. Of course, if you notice that we are 85% Muslim, so our way of life is of course affected by the the way of life of a Muslim. For example, like it's quite rare to find a restaurant that sells serdo, pig as meat, pig meat in our country, because most of us are Muslim, for example, and like it's quite common to hear the azan is like a calling for prayer. Like we are here in church every Sunday, we hear the bell, but in Indonesia, like 5 times a day, we will hear the azan. So that's of course our life, way of life is influenced by the religion.
And the religion is integrated in politics.
No, not really. In terms of, we do have some political parties that base themselves with certain religion, but it's not really affecting, because we are, even though the political party is based on religion, but still we run a democratic life in Indonesia. So not to a certain level, not influencing enough.
What are the main challenge in Indonesia?
The number of people. We are like the fourth populated country in the world. Even though our country is a big one, 17,000 island, and rich in nature, but still the number of the people, because we have that big number, is quite challenging. So the welfare is not spread evenly. There are some social gap, and the area in Indonesia, as you may be aware, we are archipelagic countries, many islands. The big islands, especially the capital, where the capital of Indonesia is, the Java Island, is very densely populated, and it creates problems like poverty, unemployment, while in other region, in other island, where nobody wants to live there, it's not developed, because everybody is lured to come to the big cities. So the challenge, of course, the people. And in terms of education, we are not evenly spread for the education. I mean, the number of uneducated people is still quite high, even though it's decreasing nowadays, but still that's another challenge that we have. And not to mention now, because of the exploitation, the unwise exploitation of our natural resources, we are now facing the problem of degrading of natural resources and the environment damage. That's some of the challenge. But we are now on track for the betterment.
In Indonesia, exists many differences in population, like in Mexico.
Yes.
The ethnic
the
population.
indigenous people.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Like I mentioned, the 250, we have berapa ethnic group? 600, 6.000. 600. We have like 600 ethnic groups in our country. So we do have different kind of people. If you know that there are like 7 big islands in Indonesia, and each island will speak different language. Like you have different language here, like you have different ethnic group, same like us in Indonesia.
And this is represent a problem for understand the
We have one lingua franca, the Bahasa Indonesia, the language of Indonesia. We call it Bahasa Indonesia. So this language becomes the language that unites us. One language that we use to understand other people. Otherwise, I don't understand his language, or he doesn't understand my language, because we have totally different language. But the Bahasa Indonesia that we have acclaimed as one language that we have in the year 1928, yeah? Is the one that help us unite and the one that make us understand one another. So it's like a compulsory to learn Bahasa Indonesia.
1.300.
Oh, mahal banyak ya.
And what do you think is the challenge, the main challenge for Mexico, the biggest problem?
For Mexico, here,
The perception of Indonesia.
Indonesia to Mexico, or Mexican to Indonesia?
No, from Indonesia to Mexico.
It's a far away country. Like we are at the other side of the globe. We don't see Mexico as, especially as an enemy. We always see Mexico as our friend in the world. Otherwise, we don't have the School of Indonesia here in Mexico. We have been close. Like I said, we have now enjoyed the 63 relationship, year of relationship. So that's how we see. So you're going to write it in a paper, or you're going to present it to your teacher later?
No, I read. Escribir. I will write a paper, a final paper for my class, and I put all these
Info?
issues, yes, and the paper, and I voy a hacer, I will make a purpose.
A proposal.
Yeah, from close the relations between Mexico and Indonesia.
Okay.
Yes, and in other cultural issue, tema, we are a different perspective, or with the culture of Eastern countries and Oriente, West, Occidente, Western countries. How is the perception of women in Indonesia?
The women in Indonesia has the same, what is it? Has the same status as the man. We do believe in the gender, in the woman empowerment. We are the party of Jeddah. We have already put our best effort to give the same status between men and women in our country. Like in terms of in the fields of politics, for example, we apply the quota 30% for women representative in the parliament, for example, or like in my ministry, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we give equal rights for the what is it, the women as well as for the men. Like in my batch, the number of women and the men are exactly the same. We are 50%, so 50-50, the man and the woman. So we don't differentiate between man and woman. We do believe that woman, not because I'm a woman, but we do believe if the woman can do the job well, then she deserves the place to be in the government, in the parliament, in the business. Like in my ministry, we now have the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Lady Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So we put the woman in equal status as the man in our country.
Yeah, in Mexico, the parity quotes are 50-50. And in Indonesia, the
Still
quota
30%
30.
now.
And this is
¿Qué?
es como una iniciativa. Iniciativa.
¿Para?
¿De qué organización? And this is
No te entiendo.
for the quotes. You work with United Nations or is a interior
Internal. No, Indonesia, in terms of the United Nations, we apply some of the convention. We are the party to some of the convention that try to increase the woman participation, like CEDAW. So we are in line. Our internal policy to uplift the woman's status in our country is actually in line with the UN policy, the UN convention. We are party. We have already ratified some of the convention that the UN apply for women empowerment in our country. It also goes to other kind of policies.
What are the principal issues from the empowerment women? Maybe give more job to the women or go to the rural a los pueblos, no a la ciudad. Or go to the rural and give more or maybe investment to the women, or how is the empowerment?
Some of the things that we do is like we try to increase the welfare of the woman. We try to provide the rights of the woman for the maternity rights, for example. We try to empower the woman by giving more chance for them for education, for example. In terms of jobs, most jobs will hire anyone, man or woman, who are good at the job. But only in terms of politics, in the parliament, where we still find the quota. But in other sector, no. We have the Ministry for Women Empowerment, and this ministry apply and has different kind of programs to increase the welfare of the woman in rural areas, for example, for the mothers, so that the mothers can be educated enough to give education for the children. And this is one of the way that we try to uplift the women's status in our country. Banyak kan pertanyaannya?
¿Quieres preguntar algo?
Yes. Yes. In the Java Islands, there is like the west half for Indonesia. So the east, no. Yes, the east part is for another country.
Yeah, Timor-Leste.
In Java Island,
Yes.
we are neighbor to Papua New Guinea.
Yes.
We are neighbor to, when we talk about, how do I say, the border is on land. We share the same island with Papua New Guinea, with Timor-Leste, with Malaysia. Brunei enggak lah ya hitungannya, with Malaysia. So we are close neighbor to them. And as I said earlier, we have 7 big islands that are densely populated, but other islands from the 17,000, it's quite not empty, but not too many population there. And as I said earlier, that people in Indonesia is learned to come to big islands, especially to Java, because that's where the central of government, the central of industry, central of business, central of education. And because of that, some area are still not yet developed in terms of development, because of the people. They don't live there. They live they concentrate and live only in the island of Java.
So in all of these many islands, is there exist separatism movements for all the diversity?
In several islands, we still hear, we still have some people who are trying to liberate themselves from Indonesia. They say they still have the belief that we are Indonesia, not giving them the freedom to develop themselves, not fair enough for the development. But what causes the underdeveloped in their region is not because of the government policy. It's more to there are no people. Not so many people develop their own region. Like in the case of Papua, for example, we give Papua the autonomous right to develop itself. The region. The people, the province got special autonomous right to develop the area based on what they need, not based on what the government, the central government told them to do so. That's the thing.
So, in security terms, in Mexico we have the narcotraffic like the principal threat. In Indonesia, what is the principal or the principal's threat?
For the narco-traffic, we also experience this issue. This problem. We also facing this problem. Maybe you have heard that a couple of weeks ago, we just applied we just executed some smugglers who come to Indonesia for narco trafficking in our countries. There is another issue. In the issue for insecurity terms, separatism is not really a big issue for us because it happened not in all of the moment.
Yes.
Halo. Waalaikumsalam.